Hello and welcome to Get Decked, the video series where I make budget Magic the Gathering decks for your casual games night and to help introduce friends and family members to the game. So this is the last one of my Planeswalkers for pennies decks that I'm doing, and I've kind of saved the what I feel is the best for last. I had a lot of fun putting this one together. It's called Ugin's Urzatronics, so we can kind of guess where it might be going. And it is colourless, which is a first for Get Decked, having a completely colourless deck. So yeah, let's get into it. First, remind ourselves of the rules of Get Decked. The decks are 60 cards, they're designed for 1v1 games, no format restrictions, mostly commons and uncommons, no cards that cost more than $2 at the time of recording, limit ourselves to 12 different non-land cards for a good mix of variety and consistency, strong themes and low to mid complexity, so like a newer player can pick this up and kind of pick up and play and have a good time with it, but just because it's a casual deck doesn't mean it's weak or bad, and I think I don't know, because I might have made this one maybe a little bit too spicy, because that no format restrictions is going to matter for one card in particular. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is the deck list here. So we've got 22 creatures, 5 artifacts, 6 sorceries, 3 planeswalkers, obviously, and then 24 land. No basic lands because we are going full colorless. And yes, you can see some of the lands. Yes. We're going full Urzatron, and also, yes, there's Cloud Post in here. That's what I was talking about the no format restrictions. We're including Cloud Post and Glimmer Post. So, yeah, this is probably despite being colorless, I think it's quite spicy. Anyway, let's get into it. But before we do that, let's remind ourselves how we talk about these decks. First, we talk about how we're winning, so that's the actual win condition. In this case, just playing a bunch of like really efficiently costed colorless creatures. What helps us win, which is in this case going to be like mana ramp and other like buff spells and draw spells, that kind of thing. And what stops them winning, which is like removal options to interact with the opponent's board. Also, as a disclaimer, this is hypothetical. I've not built the deck, I've not played it, so I can't really say how well it would do. But you know, as always, feel free to build it yourself. Go away, have some games of it. Come back maybe to this video, leave a comment saying how it went. Would love to hear how this one in particular goes. But yeah, I can't make any promises how it'll actually perform. So the planeswalker we're using for this is Ugin the Ineffable. His War of the Spark version, because he's got a passive version, which I think all the War of the Spark ones did. So 6 colorless for a 4 loyalty planeswalker. Colorless spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Every spell in the deck is colorless, so that's pretty great. His +1 is to exile the top card of your library face down and look at it. You create a 2/2 colorless spirit creature token, and when that token leaves the battlefield, you put the exile card into your hand. So it's not quite manifest. You make a spirit, and then when it dies, you get that card back. So it's kind of like delayed card draw. I think it's a pretty fun effect. And then his -3 is destroy opponent that's 1 or more colors, which is basically anything you play against, pretty much. So yeah, as he's a War of the Spark one, with one of these passive abilities, he doesn't have like a big ultimate. He's just got these two. So I mean, I couldn't use normal Ugin because normal Ugin is definitely not within budget. But I thought this would be pretty fun. I really wanted to use a deck with Ugin, and I'm really glad this kind of lower rarity, more budget version exists. And also sticking to the theme, obviously. A lot of colorless cards in the game are linked to the Eldrazi. I didn't want to do that. I want to really stay on theme because part of what I do with Get Decked is say things have sort of strong themes. And Ugin is not really. I mean, he is sort of connected to the Eldrazi, but he doesn't use the Eldrazi. So nothing in here is colorless Eldrazi. It's all other colorless spells that I've tried to say are linked more to Ugin in a way. So yeah, I've not used any Eldrazi because the Eldrazi are antithetical to Ugin. He is nice colorless, whereas the Eldrazi are bad colorless. So we're going to talk about how we're winning. So first, some just big old colorless spells. So we're going to have 2 Omarthis, Ghostfire Initiate, double X for a 0/0, enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters. The double X is not a big deal because we've got, I mean you've seen the land. We've got a full Urzatron, so we can ramp up pretty high, I think. So it comes in with X +1/+1 counters. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on another colorless creature, you can also put a +1/+1 counter on Omarthis. We've got a few other ways of putting +1/+1 counters on colors creatures, and then when Omarthis dies, you manifest a number of cards on the top of your library equal to the number of counters on it. Manifest, if you're not familiar with it, I know we've had Manifest Dread recently in Dustmorn, which is technically slightly different, but normal Manifest is you just put the top card of your deck face down. It counts as a 2/2 colorless creature with no like name or type or anything, and if it's a creature, you can turn it face up for its mana cost. So yeah, so Amarthis is basically a big creature. When it dies, then just makes a whole bunch of smaller creatures, which I think is pretty fun. Then we're going to have 3 Stonecoil Serpent, X mana for a 0/0. Has Reach, Trample, and Protection for multicolored. Nice selection of abilities there, and enters with X+1/+1 counters. As I said, we got a lot of ramp in here. We got a nice Urzatron. So potentially this is a turn 3 7/7 with Reach and Trample and Protection from multicolored. The Protection from multicolored is probably a bit niche, I would say, but it's still grateful to have it when you need it, I suppose. But yeah, I really like Stonecoil Serpent, and I thought it was a nice budget colorless thing to throw in here. And then we've got 3 Scion of Ugin, just 6 colours for a 4/4 flyer. So yeah, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Just a decently sized flyer. So we're going to talk about what helps us win. So from the Brothers' War, we're going to have all the Urzatron workers. I really, really like this little cycle that they're all the workers in the Urza lands. I think it's just a really fun, like cute, because look at them, they're adorable little cycle. And I love how they all interact with each other. I think it's great. So we've got 4 mine workers for 2 mana for a 2/1. You tap, gain 1 life, but if you control a power plant worker and a tower worker, you get 3 life instead. We've got 4 tower workers, which is the one I think we care about the most. So 3 mana for a 1/3 with Reach. Taps give you colours, but if you control a mine worker and a power plant worker, you add 3 colours instead, which is, again, really, really nice, especially if you have an Urzatron out entirely, so you're getting so much mana then. And then 4 power plant workers, 5 mana for a 4/4, so the biggest one. And you spend 3 to give it +2/+2 to end a turn, but only once a turn. But if you control a mine worker and a tower worker, instead it's 2 +1/+1 counters, which obviously Omarthis likes seeing, because then you're putting +1/+1 counters on a colourless creature. So I really like all of these. I wanted to have all 4 of these. My idea is that Ugin has like going, oh man, my Ghostfire magic's not working. Like, that Urza's got some good ideas though. Maybe I can try enhancing my Ghostfire with technological means. Maybe he's diversifying. He's an ancient dragon. Who's to say? He's not interested in robots. You don't know anything about Ugin. You don't know him. You're not his wife or his husband or his dad. You don't know him. Anyway, so we've got 2 Abstruse Archaics. I don't know where I went with that. I really went off tangent there. So 2 Abstruse Archaics, so 4 colours for a 3/4 with Vigilance. Pay 1 and tap to copy an activated or triggered ability from a colorless source. Obviously, we've got a ton of those. We've got all the obviously all the workers have their abilities. Omarthis has a bunch of triggered abilities. Just a lot doing. Really fun ability and really cheap to do. Actually, if only just 1 and a tap, I think is really really fun. And in fact, it's got vigilance as well, so you could always swing with it and then do this in like main phase 2 or something. So yeah, I thought Abstruse Archaic was pretty fun. And then 3 Introduction to Prophecy. So this from Strixhaven, nice colorless sorcery. So 3 just to scry 2 and draw 1. Obviously it's not like ideal, but I was committed. I was doubling down on this colorless theme. So we're gonna, if that means doing a subpar draw spell, then that's what we're doing. And then we have 2 Ghostfire Blades, so 1 colours for an equipment, gives the equipped creature +2/+2, has equip 3, but its equip ability is 2 less to activate if it targets a colourless creature. All the creatures in here are colourless, so it's equip 1 for +2/+2, which is like alright, isn't it? It's pretty good. +2/+2 is a fairly sizable buff, so that's okay. And then 3 expedition maps, 1 colourless, 2 and tap, sacrifice, and then you search your library for any land card, reveal it, put into your hand, then shuffle. Really good that it can hit any land, because obviously we want to assemble a full Urzatron, and also we've got the Cloud Posts and Glimmer Posts as well, so we want to try and get those out. So yeah, really, really like expedition map. I could see, if you wanted to make this more efficient, if you want to make changes to it, I could definitely see an argument for bumping this up to 4 copies. Then we're going to quickly talk about what stops them winning. Very quick, we're going to have 3 Introduction to Annihilation, so it's another one of these lessons from Strixhaven. So 5 colourless, you exile a non-land permanent, and its controller draws a card, which is, fine, whatever. Then we're going to talk about the mana base, so this is where the interesting stuff happens. So 4 each of the Urzatrons. Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, Urza's Tower. They all give you colourless, but if you control the other 2, then they give you more. I'm just going to say, I've never had an opportunity to talk about it because no pre-con I've ever talked about has had the Urzatron in it. It really, really bothers me that Urza's Tower is the one that gives 3. I don't know why they all don't give 2. Like, Urza's Tower giving 3 just feels super weird to me. I would understand if they all gave 2. I don't know why the tower got singled out to give 3. I mean, it's such a minor quibble to have. I always thought it was like kind of weird. But yeah, obviously we're going to have a full Urzatron. If you have all 3 out, that's 7 colours mana, which is obviously fantastic. And then we're going to have 4 cloud posts, which is the spicy choice. So it enters the battlefield tapped because it's banned in modern, I think. So it enters tapped, and you tap to add 1 colours for every locus on the battlefield. On the battlefield, so it does count opponents' locuses as well if they happen to be playing locuses. So you know, if you've got 1 out, it only gives you 1 colourless. If you've got 2 locuses out, then obviously each of them give you 2, and it just gets exponentially better. And you've got glimmer post as well, which is a locus. And when it ends the battlefield, you get 1 life for every locus on the battlefield. So you know, on its own, it's one life. You play a second one, then you're getting 2, and so on and so on. And it gives you colours as well. But it's mostly there to power up Cloud Post, and again, just get so much colours mana, which you can put into like the big X spells. And then finally, 4 Crawling Barons. Tap to give colourless. You can pay 4 and tap to put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and it becomes a 0/0 elemental until end of turn. So again, a good mana sink for like all the colourless mana you're going to be putting. You just like activate this ability a ton of times, put a bunch of counters on it, and yeah. And then it's obviously just another big attacker, and also a Marthis like seeing counters going on it, and then it's going to get counters as well. So yeah, that's the mana base. A lot more interesting than we normally have in these get decks. So I'd love to know what you think about this one as this colours deck. I say I think it's a bit more spicy than some of the other decks I've done. I think just the inclusion of Cloud Post made it, and the Urzatron made it feel a bit, I don't know, a bit wicked, a bit naughty in some way. But I'd love to know what you think about this one, about this colours deck. Do you think I've made a mistake in not including any Eldrazi, or do you commend me for staying on theme to Ugin not using any Eldrazi? I'd love to know what you think, and you know, what you think about this deck. You know, have you ever built a colourless deck yourself, either you know themed around Ugin or just around Eldrazi? I'd love to know what you think. So do stick a comment down below. But now we are now done with the Planeswalkers for pennies. I've got ideas to do maybe another 5 get decks, maybe like tricolor ones that I've not done before. Before we get into Ether Drift, because Ether Drift's probably not going to be. Ether Drift's not until mid-February, so I probably wouldn't do get decks for it until like after the pre-release, which is, you know, probably going to be like late February. So I've got some time to kill until then. So we'll do some more get decks for color combination we've not done before. But yeah, I hope you really liked this one. So do leave a comment. And I hope you've liked all the Planeswalker for pennies decks I've done as well. So yeah, leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good YouTube stuff. And I hope to see you next time for some more get decked. Until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have an amazing day.